You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Hi, this is Katie.
And this is Nathan.
And you're listening to Queen's Podcast, the show about women in history.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Katie. How have you been this weekend?
Not too shabby. I kind of feeling a little nervous about ending the life of the legend that is Margaret Pole.
I know. This has been such a good 3-part series and learning a whole lot about she's really this royal's royal. In my opinion.
She really is that bitch, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Absolutely. So I really don't want to end it, but we kind of have to.
Because it ends on such a... spoiler alert. Such a no.
Stone cold bummer.
Before we get into that, though, we've got a couple of Patreon shout-outs.
Yes.
So, Patreon shout-out to our 4 new Patreon supporters, Mags and Katie.
Carter and Sage.
So thank you to our new Patreon supporters. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters at every level. And thank you to all of our listeners.
And let's do a little recap of where we left Margaret Pole off. Her life, bit of a roller coaster, but towards the end of the last episode, things were mostly good. She was back at court. Her BFF, Catherine of Aragon, was queen, and she was in charge of running the household of the Princess Mary.
Oh, and she was basically like the richest woman in England. It cannot be discounted that it really cannot be stressed enough that it was a huge fucking deal that Margaret Pole held a title in her own right. She was the Countess of Salisbury in her own right, which is usually not how that went. Usually to be a countess in England, you had to be married to an earl, but not Maggie. She just got to be a countess on her own. And so that is a huge deal. I think many important historians have cited that. I think the textbook term is big fucking deal.
Yes, I've heard that used many times. Yes. But because this is the court of Henry VIII, nothing good can stay. Margaret had decided to speak up against Henry's divorce from Catherine of Aragon, and that put her in the crosshairs of the king. So, big yikes.
As most of you who listen to this podcast know, Margaret Pole chose the losing side. In 1533, Henry VIII broke from the Catholic Church, declared himself the head of the Church of England, said his marriage to his wife of over 20 years was never valid, declared his daughter Mary a bastard, and married his mistress Anne Boleyn.
It was what the scholars call this whole thing.
Yeah, it was the definition of a shit show.
It was a huge scandal, and Margaret Pole would have been absolutely shooketh. Shooketh, I say!
To be fair, the whole world was absolutely shooketh. Like, this man just put himself above the fucking Pope. Excuse me? The world would have been looking at England and being like, are y'all okay? And Margaret Pole would have been like, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Margaret Pole's religious beliefs too much because for her time and place, unless otherwise stated, you just assumed that just about everyone we're discussing was traditional Catholic and pretty devout about it.
Right. Like, we did a 3-parter on Catherine Parr last year. But we opened it with, she was raised Protestant. And so we made that caveat because that was the exception, not the rule. So pretty much anybody else at this time, if we are talking about them, Catholic. And that is Maggie P. to a T. She loved her the Pope. She loved
the Pope.
She liked the saints and the rosaries. Like, no, she would have been appalled by all of this.
So when Henry VIII broke from the Catholic Church and then declared himself above the Pope, Maggie would have been mortified, like, spiritually, politically, emotionally, all of it.
But she had to walk this tightrope because remember, just a couple of years ago, like, Henry cut off the Duke of Buckingham's head for just like basically gossip, for basically having like his tarot cards read. So as much as Maggie would have loved to stay at court and probably fought for Catherine and Mary's rights to be queen and princess, she does them no good if she's dead.
So Margaret Pole lays low for the next couple of years. Now, that being said, yes, Maggie lay low and was a yes man when she needed to be, but there were several events when we can point to where she's clearly saying, excuse me, I'm the fucking Countess of Salisbury, and I'm not going to be pushed around by all these new people at court.
For instance, the new queen in town, Anne Boleyn. Do you think she showed up to Anne Boleyn's coronation?
Oh, absolutely not. Oh, sorry, was that today?
Oh, you know what? I put that on the calendar for next month. Oh, shucks.
Being that Anne Boleyn was one of the most scandalous women in the entire world at the time, Margaret Pole certainly wasn't the only person of note that skipped out on this coronation. That being said, being that she was the figurehead of old money in the country, you know, the last Plantagenet and all, and a countess in her own right, I'm sure her presence was noticed.
Yes, Anne Boleyn would have loved to have Margaret Pole on her side. But Anne Boleyn knew she was not going to have Margaret Pole on her side because...
No, absolutely
how tight
not.
she was with Catherine and Mary. Yeah. Also, many of your Tudophile nerds will recognize the name Thomas Cromwell. Basically, for a big chunk of Henry VIII's reign, Thomas Cromwell was his right-hand man. Like his, would you agree with me giving him the term of like his fixer?
Yeah, that's...
If Henry had a problem, he'd fix it.
Yep.
Step in and fix it for him. Maybe he'd have some evidence materialize out of thin air. Maybe it was legal, maybe it wasn't.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. And if you got on the wrong side of Thomas Cromwell, as many people will find out, you could find yourself headless.
Well, a lot of the nobility hated Cromwell. Duh. And Margaret was a part of that. Yeah, of course you hate him because you're like, he might get my head chopped off. Not cool. So there's this one instance of him showing up to Margaret's house being like, we think you're still holding on to some of Princess Mary's jewels for her. And since she's technically a bastard now, hand him over. And Maggie is like, get the fuck out of here. No, you fucking peasant.
No, I'm not. Who the fuck are you? Until the king tells me himself, I'm not doing shit. Get out of here. I will say the whole nobilities, that I don't love the classism when it came to how they treated Thomas Cromwell, but that is how they looked at him. They're like, who the fuck is this son of a, I don't remember what Thomas Cromwell's dad did. He was like a, I don't know, blacksmith or something like that. They're like, the son of a blacksmith now telling us all what to do, but yep.
Yep, that's what happened.
Also, during this time, during the rise of Anne Boleyn and Thomas Cromwell, there are a lot of these new money folks walking around. And Margaret Pole would have been very much old money. So the crown is looking around at these old money folks and being like, they got more than they need. And these new folks in town need titles, need land. And it's a small country. We need stuff to give them, you know? To be fair, Margaret had so much more land than she actually needed, you know? So they were like, hey, we are going to take some of your land and redistribute it to some of these new people at court. And how did Maggie take that?
She said, "Get the fuck out of here again." No.
The fuck you are.
Yeah, she petitioned the king directly, reminding him of her long service to the crown and her dedication to his mother.
Oof, pulled the mom card.
Yeah.
All of these interactions made Thomas Cromwell call her, and I quote, a troublesome and obstinate woman. Which, I mean, if men aren't calling you troublesome and obstinate, are you even doing it right? Are you even living, you know?
So this is all to paint a picture that Margaret Pole, while she knew how to play the political game, was also not going to just sit back and let everybody walk all over her.
Right.
Oh, and also to let y'all all know that she and Thomas Cromwell aren't friends. But I'm sure that won't be important later.
No. We're going to leave you on that cliffhanger and take an ad break. So here's the thing. Shopping for new glasses used to make me feel like I was starring in a period piece drama. Endless rows of frames, harsh lighting, and me squinting at my reflection like, is this cute or do I look like a medieval tax collector? But Warby Parker changed all of that. A couple of months ago, I went into one of their stores on a whim, and y'all, it was like walking into a chic little eyewear palace. One of their stylists helped me try on a bunch of frames I never would have picked for myself. Within 10 minutes, I'd found the pair. Nathan literally said, okay, but why do you look like you have an inheritance now? Warby Parker uses premium materials and designs every frame in-house. So the quality is chef's kiss. And it's not just the eyeglasses. They've got sunglasses, contact lens, even eye exams. You can shop online or at one of their 300 retail locations across the US and Canada, where their style experts will get you sorted fast. And the price? Shockingly reasonable. Glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses with anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Eye exams start at $85, and if you buy 2 or more pair, you save 15%, both online and in stores. Plus, free shipping and free 30-day returns. Honestly, if I needed a new pair again tomorrow, this is exactly where I'd go. Warby Parker has over 300 locations to help you find your next pair of glasses. You can also head over to warbyparker.com/queenspodcast right now to try on any pair virtually. That's warbyparker.com/queenspodcast. Again, warbyparker.com/queenspodcast. Cheers, y'all. Cooler days are calling for layers that last. And you know me, I can't just throw on any old thing. Quince is my go-to for looking refined, feeling cozy, and keeping my coins where they belong in the happy hour budget.
Facts. Katie walked into Pilates in a $50 Mongolian cashmere sweater, and I almost fell off my mat. Excuse me, $50?
Right? We're talking $50 cashmere, premium denim that hugs you in all the right places, and outerwear that says designer runway, not discount bin. I'm eyeing all of these coats. They are giving luxury at a fraction of the price.
And the quality, honestly, better than my old quote-unquote fancy stuff. Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen so you get champagne vibes on a Prosecco budget.
Mm-hmm. My cashmere crew neck has already become my fall uniform. And Quince isn't just clothes. It's a one-stop shop, darling. Yes, I've got sweaters, but I've also got their home goods in my cart. Don't judge. Don't judge.
Never judge, never judging, always applauding. Smart, stylish, effortless, very us.
So find all your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/queenspod for free shipping and 365 days returns. Canada, you're in on it too. That's QUINCE.com/queenspod for free shipping, 365 day returns. Quince.com/queenspod. All right. So that's what is going on in the life of Margaret Pole in this tumultuous time in history. So, for the most part, Maggie is laying low at one of her mini estates, trying to stay out of the madness that is going on at court. So that's Maggie. Why don't we check in with the extended Pole family?
Do y'all remember her third son, Reginald Pole? So in our last episode, we discussed how after her husband died, she straight up couldn't afford to feed her kids. So she had to surrender one of her sons to be raised in the church, little baby Reginald. And Reginald has done very well for himself. He's a very well-respected scholar. He's still working for the church, but not actually take any holy vows. So that doesn't make him a priest or anything, just a scholar for the church.
Official smart guy for the church.
That's a pretty sweet gig.
Hey, nice work if you can get it. Now, everything we're about to discuss is actually super, super complicated and convoluted. And sometimes I like to remind people that we are just dumbasses with the internet. There are people that are way, way more qualified to discuss this than we are. And we'll link to some of those in the show notes. So we are giving like a Spark Notes version. Definitely, if this is a subject of interest for you, look into this to learn more about this. So this is like a TLDR high level version of it. Yeah. So Henry VIII goes to Reginald, his cousin and professional smart dude, Reginald Pole. And he's like, I want you to go over to Europe and basically talk to all the other professional smart dudes, all the other theologians. And I want you to do whatever mental gymnastics need to be done to come back and go, yeah, it's actually all of us professional smart dudes and the church, we're all super cool with what you're doing, divorcing your wife and marrying Anne Boleyn. It's all actually completely kosher. It's copacetic. Thumbs up from the church. That's your job. Go to Europe. Come back with a stamp of approval from God for what I'm doing.
Yes. And pretty much everyone expected Reginald to do this. Henry was bankrolling Reginald's semester abroad, and Reggie and the king had always been frenzies, except that's not at all what happened. Reginald is like, sorry, man, this shit is wild, and I cannot co-sign to this at all.
So in or around 1536, Reginald writes this treatise called De Unitate, is my best guess of how that's pronounced. And it's just a big ol' fuck you to Henry and everything he's doing. Basically, it's like, dear Hank, your wife is a skank, your government's corrupt, you're a tyrant, fuck you, Reggie out.
And Henry, do you I don't think he's gonna take this too well. Not famous for handling criticism. He fucking loses it.
Well, and is that as if the criticism wasn't bad enough, Reggie followed up with these action items. He's like, and since you're crazy and leading your people into eternal damnation, it's the responsibility of the Christian kings of Europe to stop you. He wrote that the people of England were no longer like, God was saying the people of England were no longer beholden to their king. If they wanted to revolt, that the kings of Europe should support them. They no longer owed loyalty to Henry. And basically it was a call to arms for the kings of France, Spain, and Italy, or whatever other Christian Catholic kings wanted to take up arms against. Basically, he's saying, hey, if we want to start a holy war against Henry VIII, I'm saying that we're just to do that. And Henry VIII is like, and you're on my bankroll?
Yeah, this is bad. Calling him a simp for a skank was treason. This is like turbo treason.
Treason with a side of world domination.
Yeah, literally. The sort of treason that comes with a papal blessing, too. But Reggie is in Europe, and Henry can't touch him. And this just makes me think, like, all of the ghosts of the executed Plantagenets are like, wait, All I needed was a fucking boat.
Right? Well, Reginald may not be in England, but guess who still is? His mother. And his mom has been getting on the king's nerves for years now anyway.
Maggie's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She's writing letters to everyone. Letters being like, hey, didn't know he was going to say that. Crazy, right? He's so cringe.
Maggie's drafting apology letters like she's in PR hell, just being like, of course you're the head of the church, your majesty. So heady, so churchy, so brave, so handsome and strong.
And love what you've done with the monasteries. Very minimalist. That's so in right now. Anyway, we don't know what the fuck is in Reginald Mead over there in Italy, but we love what you're doing. Everything's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Are we good?
We good? And because the Pole family over here in England, they are kissing his ass so much. They haven't done anything. There's nothing Henry can do but say, yeah, we're good. Why wouldn't we be good? But you can't help what he's saying over there in Italy or Spain or wherever the fuck he might be, right?
Yeah.
But you better believe those Tudor spies got eyes on the Pole family.
The Tudor spies
moving
have eyes.
forward. And the Tudor spies got eyes on Maggie Pole.
The new hit single by Katie.
Got eyes on Maggie Pole.
No, we're going to skim over that song as well as some major Tudor drama because it honestly just does not move Maggie's story along.
But let's hit the hits. Like, let's hit the high notes. Like, what happened the next few years?
So in 1536, Catherine of Aragon dies, and we have no record of her keeping in touch with Catherine of Aragon later in life, but we have to imagine this affected her somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Then in 1536, Anne Boleyn is beheaded. Again, we don't have anything in documents that like document how Margaret Pole felt about Anne Boleyn getting beheaded, but I have to imagine no tears were shed. I'm just imagining her being like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
Willy Wonka when the kids get like
sucked up in the
killed at the chocolate factory or whatever, and he's just like, no. You know.
Oh. In October of 1536, there was the Pilgrimage of Grace, which we've talked about several times on this show. Huge, sweeping oversimplification. There was a big uprising in the north of England about the dissolution of the monasteries. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest rebellion of Tudor times. Henry VIII said that he was going to negotiate with them, but then didn't. Psych. And executed all of their ringleaders.
Now, we bring this up because during the uprising, Cromwell may have been looking at Margaret Pole sideways in the wake of the whole Reginald mess. She had never been a supporter of breaking with the church. Even if her family had like always outwardly supported the crown, it was kind of an open secret that if she had her druthers, they would still be very Catholic, you know? Mm-hmm. So there were rumors that she may have been doing things under the table to support the uprising. But there was never any concrete evidence. It was never anything besides rumors. Put a big ol' pin in that, and that's what we call foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a lot of that in this story. Is it foreshadowing, or is it just a lot of history repeating itself?
Yeah.
Also, in 1536, Jane Seymour becomes Queen of England. Jane and Margaret probably never met because at this time in her life, Margaret wasn't really going to court anymore. But some historians believe that Maggie wrote to Jane to welcome her to her new role and to basically be like, hey, it'd be super cool if you could bring the Princess Mary back to court.
And it worked. Though we probably can't actually give Margaret credit there. Jane Seymour probably always wanted to try to bring Princess Mary back to court. That was something that Margaret wanted. So Margaret was probably a fan of Jane Seymour. And also she was not Anne Boleyn. So
that's a win.
Yeah, but having Princess Mary back at court would have been good for Margaret's reputation anyway. How so? Ever since the Reginald Pole debacle, every year at Christmas, Margaret had sent the king a Christmas gift. And every year, he had sent it back unopened.
Petty.
Who? Henry VIII? What?
Petty Betty.
What?
Yes.
Petty Betty. But now that Mary is back at court and in favor, Margaret sends Henry VIII a Christmas gift, and he doesn't send it back. He doesn't send a thank you letter, and he doesn't send her a gift, but he's not sending it back unopened. So...
Okay. I guess
we'll take it. Yeah. It's
compromise.
It's like a small little sign that she's kind of in favor-ish. Favor adjacent. Yeah.
Favor adjacent.
Yes.
Now, some people will point to this and say, okay, but Mary was not allowed to invite Margaret to come work on her staff after she returned to court. But y'all, this woman was 63 years old. Today, that's not viewed as being that old to go to court and attend some Christmas parties. But back then, travel was fucking hard.
Life was just fucking hard in the 1500s.
Yeah, when you're 63. I mean, much less being 63 and having to ride horseback all the way. No,
right, yeah.
No.
She probably didn't want to go to court anyway, you know? Now, if the princess and the king would have called her to go to court, would she have gone? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I have to, like, I don't think them not calling on her is this immediate shade that some people think it is.
On the other hand, it could be a teensy bit of shade. You know, her son is over in Italy or France or wherever he was, basically calling him the spawn of Satan's butt crack. No. So there might be a little bit of tender shade.
It's a petite shade. Yeah.
Oh, petite shade.
Oh, petite, yeah. All right. So now let's do a Pole family roll call, y'all.
Yay.
Pole family roll call. Okay, so just content warning, everything from here on out is a stone cold bummer. Yeah, it's a family affair though, so we're going to be sad as a family. But we need to understand where everybody in Margaret's family is. So let's check in on everybody.
Yeah, let's check in on that Pole family like we're Tudor spies.
Tudor spies. Our eyes on the spies.
So Maggie is laying low in one of her many houses, still loaded AF, even if she's had to hand over a few estates to new money courtiers.
Her daughter Ursula, who we mentioned last time, married into the Buckingham family, and then they had a scandal or whatever. She's not really a Pole anymore. She married into this other family. So we don't mention her again, which normally I would be really annoyed by, being like, oh, just because she's a woman, so she married into another family, so she's not part of this family anymore. Actually, you know what? That takes her out of this controversy. So I'm like, yay. Ursula dies when she's like presumably of old age, much, much later. So bye, Ursula. You're not part of this. Bye.
Okay, bye. We've already discussed Reginald Pole over on the continent causing problems for all the rest of us, so that leaves us with 3 other sons. Sadly, Maggie's second son Arthur died in his early 30s before any of this mess started. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. So that leaves her eldest son and heir, Henry, and her youngest son, Geoffrey.
Henry, the Baron of Montague, is Maggie's oldest son, and he is A+ son. He's done everything he's supposed to do. He's a courtier. He kisses Henry VIII's ass. He has a seat in Parliament. Even though he's super Catholic, he's played this Reformation game. He's Church of England. Like, he has done everything he is supposed to do to represent the Pole family. Like, just done everything right, and everything goes great for him. Don't Google it.
Then there's Geoffrey, a.k.a. Drunk Jeff.
Oh.
He's not the golden boy at court like Henry. He's not the child prodigy like Reginald. He liked to drink, and he liked to gamble, which we've seen a lot on this show, with basically just a noble with absolutely no direction in their life, and they have all this money, and they just end up spending it, gambling it, and drinking it away.
Geoffrey Pole is a liability, is what we're getting at.
Mm-hmm. In 1537, the Pope makes Reginald Pole a cardinal, which was a huge pain in the ass for the Poles in England. And that just came like out of fucking nowhere. It's literally a direct fuck you to Henry VIII because Reginald Pole was not even a priest.
Not even a priest.
Spoiler.
And if you don't know anything about the Catholic Church career paths, traditionally the career path goes priest, bishop, typically archbishop, then cardinal, and then the Pope gets chosen from the pool of cardinals. So to go from not even priest to then cardinal, just like smart dude with religious interest to cardinal.
Yeah.
It was purely political. It was just to piss off Henry VIII.
So the fact that the Pope was just like, "Hey, Reginald Pole, I like you. Want to be a cardinal?"
You got to say it. You got to say it in Pope though.
Oh. Hey, Reginald Pole, I like you. You want to be a cardinal? And Reggie was like, hey, "Why aren't you talking like that?" Yeah.
Yeah.
This was purely political though, and this really fucked shit up for the rest of the family in England.
Yeah, and in some just like really, really bad timing, around the same time, Jeff decided he was going to try to skip town to avoid paying some of his debts. Maybe he was trying to skip town to avoid paying some of his debts, or maybe he was trying to go join his brother and live like a Catholic prince over in Italy or Spain or France or one of the Catholic, as somebody who was the brother of a cardinal might. That might look kind of attractive to somebody that feels like they kind of don't have a purpose over here, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this is the start of something called the Exeter Conspiracy. And guys, this could be its whole own episode. We suggest you check out our friend Adam of the Tudor Chest episode on it. And we'll link it in the show notes if you want to know a much more professional deep dive into that. But what you need to know is this is bad news for Maggie and her family.
Right. Maggie's sons are really close with their cousins, the Courtneys. And their cousins, the Courtneys, Henry Courtney, their cousin Henry Courtney was the Marquis of Exeter. He and Thomas Cromwell hated each other. And it was the perfect storm for just some shit.
Yep.
Shitstorm.
Shitstorm is the historian's technical term.
It's yes. I'm sorry to get so professional there on you.
So drunk Jeff is trying to skip town to outrun his debts, or maybe for rebellion reasons? Unclear. But he gets arrested and he gets put in the Tower of London.
So then he basically gets put to dry out. They put him in solitary confinement, Nathan, for 2 months.
Ooh.
So when they finally come to talk to him, no one's talked to him for 2 months except for to slide him food and stuff like that. So when they finally come to talk to him, he's like, "Oh my God, I'll tell you everything. My mother shot JFK and my brother is the Unabomber. My cousin is in the Illuminati and I know where Amelia Earhart's crashed her plane and I'll tell you anything if you just don't ever leave me alone again. Oh my God, talk to me."
Even though none of that ever happened. Yeah, that's very much a Katie move. It's like, "I'll tell you whatever you want. What do you want to know?"
And honestly, that is also relatable.
Based on the interrogations of her son Geoffrey, her son Henry is arrested along with their cousins, the Marquis of Exeter, along with a few other cousins, and also Margaret's grandson, who was 17 to 19.
Maybe even younger. 17 to 19 is an older guess. He may have only been 15. They were just arresting. They were just it was just a Plantagenet roundup again.
It was. So once again, she finds that just about her entire family is in prison, or Molly and Danger Girl in some way.
All right. I am going to go. I need to calm down. I'm going to go take a quick break, and y'all can listen. Y'all can calm down with us by taking a quick listen to these words from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Dreaming about becoming a nurse, or maybe you're already in nursing school. I'm Nurse Mo, creator of the Straight A Nursing Podcast, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. I know nursing school can be challenging. I've been there, but it doesn't have to be impossible. Sometimes the key to succeeding in nursing school is to hear the concepts explained clearly and simply, which is exactly what you get with weekly episodes of the Straight A Nursing Podcast. Each Thursday, I teach a nursing concept or share tips and advice to help you succeed in school and at the bedside. My goal is to help you improve how you study, get more done in less time, pass your exams, and feel more confident in clinical. And if you're already a practicing nurse, these episodes are for you too, because as nurses, there's always something for us to learn. So subscribe to the Straight A Nursing Podcast, and I'll see you on Thursday.
And we're back.
Yes.
In 1538, one of Maggie's homes, one of many of Maggie's homes, Warblington Castle, is searched, and incriminating evidence is found that suggests she supported the Pilgrimage of Grace. What was found was a tunic, and on that tunic, there's this embroidery that's called the 5 Wounds of Christ. It was a symbol that was used during the uprising that was on all banners, and it was pretty synonymous with this uprising.
Margaret is fucked. Still to this day, people argue if this was real or planted, or if it even had anything to do with the Pilgrimage of Grace. It would have been so easy peasy for Thomas Cromwell to have planted that evidence. One tunic in one of Margaret's dozens of huge houses.
Yeah.
Because these houses that she has, she doesn't visit all of them all the time. And even if she does go to them, one of them might have an attic that she hasn't been in 20 years. So to be like, we went into, hell, in my not big house, in my attic, I'm sure I have like storage boxes that I'm not sure exactly what's in them. And so if somebody was like, here's an embarrassing t-shirt from 10 years ago, can you believe you used to like this band, or something that I'd be like, do you know what I'm getting at? Like, it's not.
Yes. It's like, yes, she had all these houses. There may have been people that stayed at these houses too that weren't her as well. And she's like, comes home and somebody cleans up the place. It's like, what is this tunic? Let me just wash it and put it away.
Right. Historians don't know. It's completely possible that Thomas Cromwell planted something because he was incentivized to plant something to incriminate her. Also, like maybe it just existed in her house because she had a million houses and she had a bunch of old stuff,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But also that symbol, the 5 Wounds of Christ or whatever, existed as a symbol before the Pilgrimage of Grace uprising. So like maybe she had it on something before the uprising. Like maybe, or maybe she supported the uprising because she.
Maybe she was a quiet supporter. You never know. That
all of these things are plausible.
Yes, there's also people who think that she was secretly writing letters to Reginald overseas, being like, "You're doing great, sweetie. Keep it up."
Yes, all of these things are plausible, and because I don't have it here in the notes, because it's just too much to go into, we do find like when people were getting into questioning her sons and stuff, her son Henry, like when they're interrogating her oldest son Henry, being like, what have you been writing about? We can't find any letters. Who have you been communicating with? He's like, I've always burned all my letters. Like, I've just always done that. And like he said it like, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. I've just always burned all my letters. Margaret's probably taught her son since he was a kid, burn your letters, because she knew people would be searching for them. So we'll also never know, because we're never going to find like letters from her, because she's probably always told her kids,
burn it after you see it. Yeah.
So we'll never know. What do you think? I mean, absolute speculation station based on absolutely fucking nothing. What do you think? Based on just
all
vibes. Absolute
vibes.
Just vibes. What do you think?
Please,
I cannot wait to let real historians trash us on the internet and be like, they're going off vibes. But yeah, vibes. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I I really want her to be a messy bitch and have supported the Pilgrimage of
Me
Grace. Like, I
too.
really
I
want
really
it.
do too.
Yeah, I want her to have like at least like quietly supported it, like maybe accidentally donated some stuff over here and over there. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it because she's just seen
She's so smart.
so much
She
shit
has
go
such
on.
good survival instincts.
Yeah, and that just seems like so out of character for her to be playing so safe this entire time to then all of a sudden
Switcheroo.
be, yeah, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't track with her character.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
So, yeah, I'm kind of like, I kind of agree with you that, like, why would she, in like the end of her life, suddenly start playing dangerously? But also maybe because she's
Mhm.
like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
It's true.
60 and it's 1530, whatever. Like, I've only got like 2 years left to live anyway, or whatever. Because
Yeah.
if I was writing historical fiction, she would be doing some kind of like underground railroad for Catholics to get out of England or something like that. Like a hardcore supporter kind of thing. No, I think the reality probably lays somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So we'll never know for sure, but
Yeah.
what we do know is that Thomas Cromwell framed her for the whole thing.
Thomas Cromwell, yeah, definitely found evidence. How convenient. Thomas Cromwell found evidence.
And Margaret isn't immediately brought to the Tower of London like her sons were. She's put under house arrest and questioned. And like Katie was saying, this is a 63-year-old woman without much fucks left to give.
Mm-mm.
And she's basically like, so you found a religious tunic. So what? I'm a religious woman. What next? You're going to say you found some rosary beads in the attic of a castle and I haven't been to in 20 years and claim that I'm a depope.
What? Yeah, what? Okay. So Maggie was interrogated under house arrest for 3 days straight. And her jailers said of her, "We have dealt with such a one as a man have dealt with before. We may call her rather a strong and constant man than a woman. For in all behavior she hath showed herself so earnest, so vehement, and precise that more could not be." Which, what does that basically mean? She's so tough, she couldn't possibly be a woman. She's basically a man.
Which obviously sexist, but given for the time,
Everything was sexist.
let's take it.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think we also need to consider she was considered a very elderly woman at this point.
Yeah.
Her sons are locked up already. Her other son, they can't touch. What else does she have to lose?
So the dudes send their report back to Thomas Cromwell, who, in my opinion, have already made up his mind that Maggie's getting locked up, you know? So he writes back to the king and declares her a treacherous and unnatural woman.
Ew. I hate that.
Unnatural?
Basically, that's Tudor.
Because,
What?
ugh, yeah.
What? Basically, that's Tudor speak for she didn't even cry when we threatened to throw her in jail. Ugh.
While Margaret was in house arrest, her son Henry was executed. So that fucking sucks. We don't have any record of how Margaret took this news, but we have to assume it would have been a blow.
Yeah, though, I mean, hasn't this happened to just about every other man in her family? Like, dad drowned in a barrel of wine.
Yep.
Uncle killed in battle.
Yep.
Cousins probably killed. Brother killed, executed. Why would her eldest son be any different?
Oddly enough, after her son Henry executed, Drunk Jeff was let go. Back then, if you were considered insane, like mentally unwell, it was considered just a bad look to execute somebody who had lost their mind. And he tried to take his own life twice. I think because he was so riddled with guilt for snitching on his family and probably making up shit on his family. Like, his mom wasn't in the Illuminati and didn't shoot JFK, you know?
Also, he was a heavy drinker, so let's remember that there's also some of that alcoholism can play into having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And, like, it can cause that.
And so they considered him so mentally unwell that they let him go. And as soon as he was able to, it may have been after Henry VIII died, he was able to finally make it over to the continent and live with Reginald. So he got to just die of natural causes. So good for him.
I mean, yay.
Yay.
After the execution of her son, though, the king was like, okay, let's bring Margaret Pole and let's lock her away in the tower now.
Yeah.
She was declared guilty of treason, but she never set trial. And this is something called a bill of attainder, where you can be found guilty of treason without even having a trial, and a sentence can be passed down, which also allows the court to seize all of her lands and all of her
Wait.
money.
This all sounds super familiar. Didn't Henry VIII's dad do the same thing to her brother when he died? And
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because history repeats itself. Spoiler alert. And for no other reason, I feel like mentioning this, that the U.S. Constitution explicitly bans bills of attainder in both the federal and state governments because they saw this messy shit.
The more you know. And now Margaret is living in the Tower of London, and shit is bleak. She lives there for over a year. And a year sounds long, but how long did her brother live there?
Yeah, and she's not living in total squander, though. She's still a countess, so she's got some comforts, but she's still in prison.
Yeah. Guys, when we talk about the legacy of Henry VIII, the arrest of Margaret Pole is such a cornerstone in his descent into madness, like the public opinion of his descent into madness.
Yeah, they're like, you're locking up this old lady who's done nothing wrong.
Especially from the view of the nobility. This, for 10 years, they just had to act like every day wasn't just more wackadoodle than the last, And
they're literally the dogs sitting in the house that's burning.
This is fine. This is fine.
This is totally fine.
And Margaret Pole, a countess in her 60s, who, you've already killed her son. What is she gonna do at this point? She has no other lifelines. Putting her in the Tower of London, people were just looking at him like, what the fuck, dude?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
And in this moment, Henry was married to Catherine Howard, who we talked about in her episode, and she was good at playing the courtly role of savior to the people on death's row. So the fact that she was kept prisoner for a year and not executed soon after her arrest may have been due to Catherine Howard's feelings.
Be like, you're not gonna kill the old lady, right?
Yeah, still. No facts, just vibes, but
Yeah, because if you're trying to impress your hot teenager wife, you don't execute Granny.
Marv, this is just so bad.
But unfortunately,
yeah, the absolute side note, Margaret did outlive Thomas Cromwell, who was executed just a year before her. So I'm just imagining, I want her to be a petty bitch so bad.
Sitting at her window in the tower being like,
That's what happens, peasant.
In spring 1541, Henry and his fifth wife, Catherine Howard, were going on royal progress. And it seems like before they left, Henry decided that while they were gone, while his tender-hearted wife was out of town, he told the jailer, let's clean up some of the leftover prisoners in the Tower of London. This will be a good time to get rid of some inventory.
And by inventory, you mean human beings, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So on May 27th, 1541, Margaret Pole, she just woke up. She'd been living there for over a year, just thinking, maybe I'm just going to live in prison for the rest of my life, or who knows. She was probably thinking she might outlive Henry at this point. He wasn't doing great. But she just wakes up one day and the jailer tells her, I'm so sorry, madam, but we are executing you today. What? What? She was 67 years old.
Okay, now we need to do some myth busting real quick.
Yeah.
There's this long-standing legend that they brought Margaret Pole out to the scaffold, and she ran from the executioner, and he had to chase her down, and they put up this big old huge fight. And this is all as a result. Her execution was super bloody, botched, and messy and horrible.
But this Okay, so does this sell really good historical fiction? Does this make good TV? Would this be a good scene in a movie? Sure. But it's probably not true. Like, she may have made it difficult for them by refusing to kneel. She may have made it difficult for them, but like, she's 67, which in 1541 would have been like 100. So she's not running. If she was running from them,
not very fast.
And the story is that there's like scaffolding. They wouldn't have built scaffolding. There wouldn't have been an audience. There wouldn't have been like a bunch of people around to like witness this. It would have been like, it wouldn't have been a big spectacle. It's very likely that it may have been botched because there was like a not experienced executioner, which
Yeah.
But if you've ever heard a story about Margaret Pole running around the grounds of the Tower of London being chased and hacked to pieces as she ran,
Yeah,
nope.
just didn't happen.
It just didn't happen.
Just didn't happen. Now, whenever everybody else in the country got word of this execution that just happened so abruptly, a lot of people thought it was just gossip.
I mean,
they're
of
like,
course it
"Oh
would."
no, that didn't happen." Like, why would?
Well, don't
How?
you get why people would think that?
Yeah, because it's just like randomly you wake up one
Why
morning
now?
like, "Oh, Margaret Pole's dead," and it's like, wait, what?
Random.
When she locked up? What? Huh?
Huh?
She wasn't hurting anybody.
Yeah. But once it was accepted, all of Europe was just basically like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we knew the king over there in England had lost it, but seriously,
He just killed an innocent old
lady.
woman.
Like his mom's best friend.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So let's talk about Maggie's legacy, shall we? Under Henry, she was kind of the ultimate symbol of, okay, none of y'all are safe.
Nope.
Doesn't matter who your dad was or how much my mom loved you. Margaret Pole's still there.
Yeah. Under Mary I, Margaret became a martyr of faith and conscience. And then kind of after that, like, her image was very much rehabbed. Mary had Margaret's name cleared of any crimes and had her lands returned to her descendants. And to this day, in the Catholic faith, Margaret is beatified. Margaret is beatified, which is like one step below being declared a saint.
Oh,
And I just like her because I talk about a long life.
Yeah, and not only that, a woman
So
who
much.
played the political game really, really well during a time that, yikes, it was not, like, she should have been executed like 30 years before she actually died.
Could you imagine the stories this woman could tell?
Oh, I bet she would write a
it.
really good book about it all. But she burned all of her
But
letters.
She burned all of her letters. Oh my God. All right, Nathan. Well, this story was such a wild ride. Thank you for going on this wild ride with me, Nathan. Whee! And thank you to all of our listeners. Cheers, bitches.
Cheers.
Welcome to True Spies, the podcast that takes you deep inside the greatest secret missions of all time.
Suddenly, out of the darkness appeared Bin Laden.
You'll meet the people who live life undercover. What do they know? What are their skills? And what would you do in their position?
Vengeance felt good. Seeing these people pay for what they'd done felt righteous.
True Spies from Spyscape Studios, wherever you get your podcasts.